Hey guys, what's up? It's Zola. Today I'm actually really busy, so I'm going to be going on holiday next Sunday, so I'm trying to finish a crap load of work before I leave. So I'm going to be commentating on one of my favourite montages of all time by my good friend Hans. It's Dualtality. First thing to note here is he is not letterboxing anything. I think this was almost a turning point for when montages in Halo 3 at least became more cinematic. First of all, his capture quality, he was really anal about his capture quality, and that shows in the final encoding he did. And this video I kind of saw being built a long time. At the same time as he was making it, he was sending me renders all the time and asking for my advice, which was I was obviously happy to help out because we've been friends for a long time. And this intro was quite unique in the way, I'm not a huge fan of just using gameplay in intros. I mean, you guys, anyone who knows me quite well knows that I'm kind of against it, but at least he was doing some like cool transitions between the players, and it was obviously nicely synced, but for me it was still this, despite the fact the way it looks, it is kind of an unimaginative intro. That being said, his use of angles is stellar. This text was done by Robbie, I believe, Robotic Designs. I could be wrong there, but I think it was. And yeah, that's the intro. Like I said, not my favourite part of the video, but definitely not the worst intro I've ever seen either. But once we get started, straight into the Anne Boleyn song, whose name escapes me, and just his use of angles. But what I really like, what I think Hans was best at in this, was his storytelling and just the way he presented the clips, angles. The bottom line for me when you're making a video with Halo 3 is what do the angles add to your video? Because if not, you might as well not use them. If an angle isn't adding anything, then you might as well be using a first person point of view. Because the first person point of view keeps you in the moment. It keeps you, it's the part that people are going to recognize most, because anyone who's played the game will understand that. But if you're going to use an angle, it has to add something that the first person point of view. And there you see in there, he's showing you where the grenade is bouncing. Here he's showing you the guy being taken out. He could have just shown the headshot, but he's shown that he's taken him out before he got the overshield, and so that makes the clip more impressive. And it's sort of things like this that really make a difference. There we had a nice bit of recoil on the Spartan. Sometimes it's just nice to show the Spartan recoiling. Here he's using the dead Spartan as a transition point, which was not the smoothest, but again, better than a lot of decent transitions and cross-cutting. And here we have some reflections in the sniper rifle, which are nice, using the barrel as a transition. So like his storytelling and his use of angles is very creative, and people got to remember this was his first and only montage, really, I think. Certainly he's only Halo 3 one, so he did a fantastic job with this. And again, using angles, he uses a lot of still cams, which I found quite interesting, because not many people do. Generally the rule is to keep the camera moving to make things more interesting, but he somehow managed to make it work, which is nice. So yeah, a lot of dead Spartans and a lot of great syncing as well. Which is, I'll try and put the sound on at a low volume. We'll see if we can get away with that. But if you haven't seen the video, you should obviously go watch it. Here we have the shot of the lift showing two people coming up. So it just provides some anticipation for the clip. It shows you what's coming. And this is the falling headshot, and then again using that same part of the map to transition into this clip. Because the good thing with these clips all being on these maps is you can use it. That transition there was literally, must have gone through about 50 iterations. He showed me about 50 different versions of that transition. I'm glad he finally got one that worked. And again, using the dead Spartans as transition points, not being too obvious with it, like not trying to match it too much, but using them just as a reference point. So dead Spartan to dead Spartan. And again, like lots of angles, like the fire on the skulls, there's a nice little effect. And obviously this is the most famous part of the video. This is like the ultimate in storytelling. Just having the Spartan falling through the clouds was something that was really interesting. And even though it's kind of hard to tell he's falling till the end, this is, you know, one of the greatest Halo 3 montage moments without a doubt. Even though, you know, you almost forget that it's a clip on high ground against, you know, it might have been, I don't know, Social Slayer or something, but it doesn't really matter because he used a great song again, the Found by Anberlin, which, you know, now if I was to watch it in a video I'd probably find it cheesy, but back then he somehow managed to make it work and feel epic, and that's more props to him, you know. So here he's obviously got his little Spartan, and he's showing you that he's hiding behind a rock, and, you know, he's building tension because you're like, okay, these guys are coming down, they've slayed his team. And then he comes out, takes out the first two, uses a sniper to take out the third one, and then, you know, headshot on the fourth guy. Now this clip probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as impressive if we wouldn't have had that, like, that little minute of build up. And it was just cool that he didn't, you know, a lot of people in montages tend to rush stuff, and not be confident enough in their angles and storytelling to just slow things down. And, you know, he made no excuses of the fact he was going to spend a minute building up to, you know, what was maybe not the best clip, but, you know, because of the way he told the story, it was actually quite an exceptional clip. So it was great. And then using lots of quick angles here, the transition there, not the greatest transition, but again, I love some lovely angles here. And then here we have lovely sinking and the bullet. You know, we had conversations about that because obviously you're shooting a battle rifle which shoots more than one bullet, and just showing one bullet was that was a lovely idea. Seeing the reflection, he uses that a couple times in the video, and then these kind of super slow speed ramps. So going from fast to slow to actually, you know, sync with the song, because there's obviously the choral singing of the children, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Here we have and then this final beatdown for the overkill. Absolutely great clip, using some God rays, a bit of track hood shine there, and again using the I believe it's, if you wide in theatre or something like that, you could quickly switch between perspectives, and if you actually use it properly, it was actually a really powerful effect to use in because it snaps back to behind your Spartan, and in a directness and speed that would be otherwise hard to replicate if you're doing it manually. So it was actually a really cool idea. Again, they're showing the reload just to show that you know, it's all little bits of detail, but, you know, all the kind of stuff that just adds to the storytelling. If there's one thing anyone who's trying to get better at editing should take away from this, it's the transitions and the storytelling, because, yeah, Hans is master at that. And again, some BR clips there, and again showing 4 Spartans running out, so you know what's coming. You can see there's a team there, and then using the, you know, quite a spectacular angle as he comes through. That was really well captured. And again, even though it's just an overkill of a rocket that kills 4 people, it's somehow made to work because of the way he presents the clip. And then here we have the kind of little last moments before he dies sort of thing, and then it kind of cuts, and then obviously the outro was kind of like the Spartan kind of waking up, I believe, if it was, but again, you know, he could have just rolled the credits, but he uses this clip as an interesting outro. Probably not my favorite, but again, like, he's not rushing, you know, he could have done this waking up from whatever the sleep is in 5 seconds, but he's taking his time, and he's kind of using that to add weight to the moment when he actually walks around. And some nice text. I like the font he used, which is obviously sometimes overlooked. Got a special thank you there. Cheers, mate. And then walking around the corner for the world's slowest snipe. And I believe we took a long time to change the colour of that last Spartan because it was actually pink. And he was just like, yeah, I can't end the video on a pink Spartan. So there you go, a little bit of info for you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will try to get back to these tutorials as fast as possible. As always, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.